everyone. Welcome back to Global Retail Conference 2025, presented by WeSave, a transformative platform shaping the future of global retail and e-commerce. As one of the largest and most influential initiatives in the industry, Global Retail brings together visionary leaders to address the forces transforming retail: technological innovation, sustainability, and evolving consumer expectations. Over this past week, we've been exploring groundbreaking ideas, actionable strategies, and leadership insights that redefine commerce. It's more than a conference, it's a call to action to lead with purpose, collaborate effectively, drive meaningful impact, as well as creating communities. So welcome again to our WeSave Global Retail Conference. So we're joined here now this morning, our time, his afternoon, is Benoit Mahe. He is the founder of CapClean. He is a retail coaching. It's an impressive resume, Benoit, right? Creator of retail coaching, author of a book, Retail Coaching, founder of CapClean, worldwide leader in retail coaching, and also a certification program, which I know as being a certified public accountant, those aren't easy to get and takes a lot of infrastructure. So congratulations on that. And we've got a great resume of working with retailers around the world. So we look forward to your remarks here and hope to learn a lot. So good morning.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. Very happy to share with you this global retail conference. And yes, this entrepreneurship idea really came since I'm a teenager. I love to be selling. I love retail. And when I was very young, I was only 25 in Chile. I used to manage 13 stores, 80 employees, and I made all the mistakes a young manager can do. And then in my 30s, I managed a retail chain of 8,000 stores, always with great passion, and also sometimes with frustrations to really convert great visions into results. And I was frustrated sometimes to have those plus 20% on a big PowerPoint and really nobody being committed. So when I was 38, I discovered professional coaching, neuro-linguistic programming, emotional intelligence. And I took this together with EBITDA, balance scorecard, dashboard, average ticket, conversion. And that is the retail coaching method that we have started. So what I want to share with you, Glenn, today on all our invitees is what it takes to be a coach in retail. Coaching is for sport, tennis, football, basketball, for art, for politics, for business. What it takes really to become a coach when you work in retail, when you are a CEO, a retail director, an area manager. So I would like to start with the 8 ICF core competencies. The professional coaches around the world either work in life coaching, business coaching, executive coaching. We form part of ICF, International Coaching Federation, and we have defined 8 core competencies. The first one is demonstrate ethical practice. And what we do is really to transmit that to managers. Do you really have ethical with your employee? Embodies a coaching mindset. This is an open, curious, flexible, client-centered mindset. What I've observed in a lot of my experiences in retail is that we were not open, curious, we were narrow-minded, always the same. How to have creativity and innovation on a daily life. Establish and maintain agreement. In retail, an agreement can be, hey, how can I increase my UPT, my unit per ticket, or my conversion? And to have really a coaching mindset with that. Cultivate trust and safety. We realize that a lot of companies, the level of trust from 1 to 10 is definitely not 10. And I have done this in 132 retailers around the world in like 15 years. How do you build trust and safety as a manager, as a coach? So what we work is on that. Maintains presence, the quality of presence. What we talk is about retail, about this sphere of 1.40 meters between a client and in store, a client and a salesperson and a client. And for this retail relationship to work, it really needs to work also the employee experience. So what is the quality of your presence today? A lot of managers are not present. They do not look at people in the eyes. What we do is to cultivate the quality of presence and the quality of listening. Focus on what the client is and is not saying. How this would be to have salespersons, to have managers who would be able to listen not only what the other is saying, but even also what they are not saying. That's the quality and the depth and the beauty of being a great listener in sales and in management. Evokes awareness. Retail is this environment where everything goes fast. In which moment do you stop and think? Smart people, when they stop to think, normally think in smart things. Evoke awareness is, I could improve my digital transformation. How do I do that? So our work is really to facilitate this client insight with our powerful questioning, our silence, our metaphors. That's our work as coaches. And finally, client growth. Client growth means anything we do is about performance. It's about selling better. It's about amazing in the relationships. So those are our basics, Glenn. How do we do that? Basically, we integrate this as retail is detailed. For instance, we integrate all those 8 core competencies you can see here in the gray column into daily practice. The fact, for instance, for a manager to sit down. Retail is an environment where we're always standing up, right? In which moment do you stand up? The power of a question like, what do you think? The way for a coachee, for the other to make their own analysis and not just receiving, hey, you are good, you are bad. This is slow, but really target to the other one's intelligence and mindset. I would like to share with you because today we're going to share a method. And first, the 3 neurons of retail. Of course, this is a simplification, but since we have discovered, right, the ERM, the scanners of our brain in 1996, 3 things that are important for us. The first one is the mirror neurons. Oh, I'm sorry. If I start to yawn, maybe I'm going to stick you this yawning, right? If we make a scanner of my brain and yours, I have the capacity to influence that. And the same if I smile or if I'm in a bad mood. So our purpose is to really make anyone responsible of their attitude and the effect this has as it irradiates towards others, managers towards employees, and salesperson towards clients. The second one is the motor cortex, the positive visualization. We take this from sport, from elite sport. I visualize myself in my next event, in my next Olympics. I visualize myself succeeding, winning. And the neuro path I'm using to think are the same I would use for my event. So as a manager, when are you going to ask to your employees, hey, imagine you have already achieved to increase your average price. What has it taken? So it's all this mental preparation for success. And lastly, the neuroplasticity. Whatever our age, our education, either we're man or woman, we can keep developing ourselves. And that's the beauty of this mindset of keep developing ourselves. And then in this environment, Glenn, the coach's role is really to consider that we have all been in this area of worth. I'm complaining, there is no clients here, there is no traffic. I can't do anything, I'm resignated and I feel a full resentment because I'm working in the stores and other managers. I'm a victim. This emotion that I've experienced so much when I've been working in stores, the coach is going to say that the reality is the reality, but you can take it another way. Instead of complaining, can request, hey, can I observe my colleague that is going very good on the additional selling, how they do that? Or can I take a course on accessories? Instead of not doing anything, why not try to increase my UPT from 1.3 to 1.4? And then develop this calm ambition and make a declaration from my mouth as an employee. I'm going to commit. I'm declaring, I want to do that. I'm not expecting my boss, my manager, to tell me what I have to do. I become responsible, responsibility, the ability to respond, even if it's not my fault. It's an old mindset of empowered employees. So coaching is really to take you in this territory of responsibility in the field of retail, with all the business challenges we have today, with ChatGPT, with Amazon. How do you take this in terms of mindset to really boost your performance? And also considering that as a leader, I can ask you to change your behaviors. Hey, I want you, Glenn, to sell better in this environment. Yes, but we know today that we have 5 other levels: the capabilities, the beliefs, values, identity, and transpersonal. So are you capable to make more and better? Which are your beliefs? For instance, your limiting beliefs. A belief can be, hey, I don't want to disturb my customer, offering more things. Which are my values? For instance, honesty. When I make sure that when I'm interacting with my client, I'm aligned in my values. And identity. And identity, and I ask these questions thousands of times in my conferences. Who dream for their sons that they would become a salesperson in a store? Nobody would raise the hand in some countries. So what we do is also to really, the identity, I am a salesperson, to make them feel proud of that. Even transpersonal, it's really what is my mission on earth? So when we talk of coaching, is really, are we aligned? As a manager, how do I do to make my team be aligned with even the deep identity? And also, the conversation of coaching helps to become aware of deeper level verbalizing than attending. And that's not psychotherapy. It's really on the fast and short environment of retail to take 5 minutes to look in the eyes and have those safe spaces when we can talk and have everyone committing on a weekly and monthly basis. So we have organized this in 3 rituals. 3 rituals of coaching in stores. The first one is the one-to-one coaching on performance, where we sit down based on data. The second one is the after-sales coaching, the self-evaluation. What we have observed in a lot of stores, it's really these notions of sending mystery shoppers and saying, hey, I want you to smile, I want you, and this is not working. This is not working. So how do you make the salesperson to self-evaluate themselves, to become their own mystery shopper, and to really take this as a growth mindset? Which conversations can you generate when you have observed the sales? And the third one is the morning brief. We have attended so much boring meetings. Glenn, a coach, there is one thing it cannot be, it's boring. So how can you be a coach in your morning brief? Like Apple, who on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, they have 10 minutes morning brief, right? How do you engage? In our case, if you want to have our diploma, you need to demonstrate your coaching mindset, even that. I'm going to ask you to record in video so that I can see how you are really not boring. And my proposal now in the next 7 to 8 minutes is to dig in each one of those 3 rituals of coaching. What do we do exactly? Here, for instance, you've got a dashboard, a balanced scorecard. Imagine you are the manager here, and you can see that your percentage of success this month has been 98.5%, right? Too bad you were that close from the objective. What's your first reaction? Maybe you go to Patricia. Hey, Patricia, you are in red. That's not good. I want you to. And that would start with a frustrating conversation, right? When we talk of coaching, we talk first to reconcile persons with numbers. Over the last 15 years, with a wonderful team of 26 persons, we have delivered 33,000 coaching sessions around the world. 1/3 of those coaches, well, retail managers told us, Benoit, I don't understand numbers at all. So part of what we do is to make people feel friends with numbers. For instance, in the case of Patricia, we can say, okay, Patricia, Okay, we have here this, I can see that you are in 79%. And yes, UPT is, she can see by herself that she has an opportunity in UPT, but she can also see that she has great number of tickets, in fact, the highest number. So we have a strength to work on. In fact, if I take Karim, who surpassed the objective, Karim also has a great UPT, 1.75. It means that out of 100 tickets, he would sell 175 items. And in his case also, he has a opportunity in his AUR, his average unit retail price. And if anyone would take the strengths of the other, would have reserves of productivity. And we can start to play, we can start to even observe each other, to have best practice. That is the coaching mindset applied to coaching, and to even include that during our briefing. And now we'd like to go to the second ritual, the client experience. We have here one client, right? This client just went out of a store and we can see his face. This client did not add just a transactional experience. He had a real human experience. His self-esteem is high. And guess what? ChatGPT, Amazon are great. And the next months is definitely going to experience great innovation, and we are on it. But there is one thing that ChatGPT is not doing. It's to increase your self-esteem. When I go to Walmart, when I go to when we go to a fashion store, to a cosmetic store, I want to feel unique. I want to feel recognized. And that's the beauty of the consumer experience. And I would like to share with you something from France here. In France, we've got great boulangerie, bakeries. And I don't know if you have been, Glenn, you know, but when you enter into a boulangerie in France, they say, bonjour, qu'est-ce que je vous sers? Ah, une baguette, s'il vous plaît. Ah, oui, et quoi d'autre? What else? Un pain au chocolat. Et quoi d'autre? Oh, un croissant. Et quoi d'autre? What else? No, it's okay. My bakery, my boulangère, she's smiling. She's like singing. And her UPT with me is 3, you know? And I like this point of the link between the attitude and the performance. And in fact, this smile is absolutely, it irradiates, it's absolutely communicative, and it's profitable. And this profitability is huge. So how do you transmit that when you have 30,000 stores around the world? And you have some part-time people that are working for you. How do you invite them to be authentic, to shine like my bakery? And if you are the store manager who observes the salesperson in a Sephora store, in a Walmart store, how do you think, Glenn, that the salesperson is feeling when they feel observed? Well, maybe they feel stressed and controlled. And maybe you would like them to feel support in a company, right? Like in football, like in sport. Hey, as a coach, I'm investing of my time to observe you and generate a productive conversation on that. That's exactly what we promote. The fact to really explain why we do things. The fact when I observe you to give you feedback, to also make you self-evaluate and to celebrate also positive things and take this as a ritual towards success. So this was the second ritual, right? The client experience. And each retail chains, they have their selling ceremony, they have their standards, their sales techniques. The point is, as a manager, how do I ignite this capacity to really being authentic and still pursue some standards? That's the beauty of being a coach in the sales observation. And the third ritual we said was the briefing, right? Is this briefing efficient? We have here a manager with some people a bit passive, right? We have here another example. Is this efficient? Definitely there is a message to be transferred here. Is this really efficient? And this one, hey, we have here some numbers. We have a whiteboard. In fact, what about this one? This briefing, it's a Teams or a Zoom meeting, right? Nobody's attending, right? if you are a CEO, if you are a retail director and you are with your area managers, what is the quality of your meetings on Monday morning? Are they boring? Are they just disorganized? Obviously, this one is a bit extreme, right? What we work on is the quality of your communication, the quality of your conversation. So really, what we do in our company, we connect 3 experiences thanks to professional coaching. We recognize that 15% of the labor force works in retail. And nevertheless, not that much people would dream for their son on their daughter that they become a salesperson. So what we do is to transform your managers in retail coach for their teams, thanks to our retail coaching method. And this creates more motivated and committed employees. The word commitment in coaching is absolutely essential. Committed means I would do anything to achieve. The second one is the customer experience. 80% of customers still visit physical stores. And I've been attending, Glenn, or other conferences. And obviously, digital IA is the big thing. In our case, we take reality as it is for 2025 to 2030. But we really want to commit anyone to really capitalize the human factor, the H to H, human to human. You know, the development in the last 5 years has been so outstanding that if I go to a store, I expect to have a real connection. It cannot be transactional. So what we do is to help you to increase your NPS on mystery shopper, more delighted customers. And a comment like, no, it was good, is not enough anymore. What we want is, wow, you have to go at this bakery. You have to go at this cosmetic store. You have to go in this luxury store. In fact, talk to Patricia, because you have a human connection with her. And obviously the shareholder connection. And I've known, Glenn, that you have been a New York Stock Exchange manager, right? What we look at is EBITDA. And sometimes what I've observed, what made me frustrated when I was 35 years old, was the disconnection between the financial objective and the way to transmit, the way to really fertilize a message. So of course, what we do is to get extraordinary results in 3 months, be able to get plus 25% in sales, in average ticket, in conversion, in clienteling. And we do it through a program, an official program stamped and labeled by ICF, where we work on performance with this notion of having a 6 questions method, 25 words for a coach in 5 minutes to bring this awareness and action taking. This capacity to really become a coach in sales and in briefing. And then really to go from good to great. Not anyone get our diploma, as you said. They have to demonstrate that they make the type of assignment. And they want to reconsider their style and to take it as a professional development and even a personal development. We cannot differentiate and segment the person from the employees. We are one person and we decide to really play that game daily of retail on an authentic way. I have been lucky in the last 15 years that as I started, I wrote the book that a lot of professional coaches said, hey, Benoit, I'm also a retail expert. Can I join you? And today we are 26% around the world. In Japan, Korea, China, in Dubai, in Germany, in France, in the US, in Latin America, 14 languages, 26 coaches. I'm so proud of them. They are the best. And yes, as you said, this really in my case, it took me 1 year, 2009, to become a coach and also to work on myself, to work on my own iceberg, right? To make a year of, after I was a manager, an executive in companies, to become 1 year to really of personal transformation, to become a coach, and professional transformation to launch that company. And after 1 year, I wrote the book. My two ex-employers became my two first clients. And then I had a third and a fourth, and I could fine-tune this method. And then we could write the book Retail Coaching in English, French, and Spanish. And 7 years later, The Connected Salesperson, my second book that you can find on Amazon. I've been doing motivational conferences. Maybe you have seen the TEDx that we have shared on YouTube. And really, over the last 15 years, this is some examples of customers that have applied for their teams this method. So we coach people in retail to contribute to a better world for the clients. If I go to a store in 2025, I need to feel a wow. I cannot just feel a transaction, even if it's to buy, even if it's in a supermarket to buy a tomato. A better world for the employees. 15% of active population that may take retail as a way to grow, to become better, to develop themselves. And a better world for the owners, the stakeholders, to make more money on a sustainable way. And sustainable is on the long term. And maybe to finalize, I would like to share with you distinctions. Distinctions are values, notions that are key for us. The first one is the difference between excellence and perfection. Perfection is you have to be perfect. If you don't, something bad happens. Excellence is this point of, hey, I can always be better. So this mindset of sport is what we're bringing in retail. The emotion of perfection is, it's never enough. The emotion of excellence is rewarding. Then the distinction between authority and authoritarian. To become a manager coach gives you great authority. Any group, any team, any country needs authority. A different thing is to be authoritarianism. So the way you address people, do you have this natural authority, or are you this authoritarian? Authoritarian paralyzes, authority tranquilizes. Vision versus dream. What is frustrating is when your managers seem to have dreams. Hey, for this year, let's go from plus 25%. And so what? A vision is a dream with a date, a dream with an action plan. Are you a dreamer or are you a vision maker? So what we do is to really generate powerful visions on an individual level connected to corporate vision. The next one is judgment versus facts. 95% of our conversations are judgments. It's good, it's slow. Hey, the traffic is slow today. When you talk of data, numbers, observations, then we can start a constructive conversation. The next distinction is commitment. A commitment is an obligation, for instance, a contractual obligation, to which I freely add my motivation. And you and me has been in stores, and I've seen people obviously not motivated. And this is an obligation, and that's awful from a retail perspective, right? The last one is empathy versus sympathy. As a manager, have you developed your capacity of empathy? Are you always sympathetic? So, obviously, if you would have to choose between both, which one would you take? Obviously, both can be important, but empathy is a non-negotiable for a manager coach. Sympathy is an option. And last but not least, authenticity. Be yourself. All the others are already taken. So when it comes to retail, when it comes to look at clients in the eyes, authenticity is this sparkle in the eyes, this smile, this human touch that I can transmit or not. And this is exactly what we pretend to transmit, the atmosphere we pretend to build in this approach of coaching for managers, top managers and middle managers in all retail and hospitality chains around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Benoit. Wow, that was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I don't know much French, but I do know baguette. And I've never been in a bakery where I don't get that kind of reaction when they hand you the bread, right? And we have a local entrepreneur here in town, former attorney, believe it or not, who created it. He's now an artist and baker, and they're always smiling, and the stuff is great. You are the champion of by the way, of the Duquesne smile. You've got you've got you've got that electricity, and it emulates from everything you do, for sure. David Phillips of Death by PowerPoint fame would be very proud of you because you are the champion of the Duquesne smile. Um, you know, you mentioned as you know, I do some teaching as well, and yes, I worked at the New York Stock Exchange for decades. But you get exposed to a lot of things, and I would love to have you come speak to one of my management classes, maybe sometime in the future. Maybe we could Zoom you in later in the semester because you're just incredible. But you mentioned the phrase "good to great," right? And that's another famous motivational speaker, James Collins, right? That was all about his pursuit as well. But what you're showing us and telling us is just it's a really fine line, isn't it? You could choose to be reactive, or you could choose to be proactive. You could choose one side of the distinction from the other. And we all have icebergs in our lives, right? We all. How much of that people don't see? Right. Well, how do we get that? How do we get that to the surface?
Yeah.
I'm
I,
a
I, th I think that uh, thank you for the smile, and Glenn, I can feel yours also. And we are here communicating through Zoom with the audience today, right? And even via Zoom, all our neurotransmitters can work or not. And yes, retail is this field where this is possible. And when you talk of good to great, it's also to recognize that the environment is not easy.
Mhm.
It's tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough. And as you know, I was in the US last week, and I mean the sociology of our employees. How do you address, for instance, difficult conversation? Can you also use coaching to address even very difficult conversations? This is what I call good from great. It's not only you are a good man or a good woman, but you're capable to address even those moments where careers are built or not, those moments where adversity arises, where pressure, where bad results. How do you address that? So, so yes, I would be very honored, obviously, to join to address your students. What really important matters for me, it's the equation between attitude and performance, between be someone good, a good man, a good woman, with performance. And maybe that is obvious, but today the mathematical equation is solved. This has been demonstrated. It's not that either I'm a good financial or I'm a good HR person. No, both things. And I admire very much the American mentality for that. In most cases, sometimes not, but at least that's what we pretend to bring, And also, we have been to Asia, as you know, because what we are bringing here is not only it's really a global mindset that has to be fine-tuned with the culture, with the communication style of each. When I was in Hong Kong or in China, you want to bring those notions, you need to take care of any one personality. So what we do, initially we come from Spain and France, we have spread in Europe, then in Middle East, Asia, America. And yes.
And well, how do you make these connections? I mean, you've got obviously you're an international entrepreneur and executive, and have transformed an idea into this amazing platform. But you that roster of your 26 partners there. I mean, it's a global mindset for sure. How did you? Was it just you were doing your own and you met them? Because it's an impressive roster of contributors.
Thank you very much for your recognition. Really, part of my work has been to build this method together with Viviane Rideau, my business partner, an exceptional professional. And I'm also a keynote speaker. And sometimes after a conference, a person would come to me, you know, and when I knew they would have this sparkle in the eyes, this electricity, I would tell them, hey, one day we'll work together. My condition is that, have you worked in retail? Yes. Are you a coach? No. So become a professional coach and then come to me. So we have used this a lot. And sometimes in some markets, when I need for a global customer, we tell me, Benoit, what we do in Europe and America is great, but we want to go to special countries, special languages. Then I would proactively search. And I've got my method, basically on LinkedIn, to target people that share our values. In our case, we share and we sign a letter of values, basically what I've tried to share today in this conference, Glenn, to just make sure that people are with me. And it's not easy, right? When you are a French Spanish like me and you talk with someone from Middle East, Arabic culture, say, hey, do we share values? Yes, and ICF, those 8 core competencies are a great backbone, a great platform to make sure that at least we have this in common. We understand listening, we understand presence, the quality of presence, and we understand our responsibility, this capacity of shining and really contribute to create a better world from retail. And this has worked so far, you know, and I'm so impressed.
Those core competencies, though, as a foundation, those work in any language, right? That, I mean, that's that they're there for the long term. Who isn't going to embrace trust and safety, right, or awareness?
Yes.
You know, you mentioned a lot, Benoit, and thank you, because we always on the school side we always talk to the students about growth mindset. So you've mentioned that a few times, and when you think about growth mindset, you know. I'm a Neil Diamond fan, and you know the magic of technology now. The stuff that I'm finding from, let's call it, the early '70s and things. He was on French television on a variety show in like 1971 or two, and there was a little segment there, and they had a talk about one of the words, one of the most used words in the world, and it's only one letter, is I, right? And you kind of you said I am before. And isn't that what growth mindset's all about? Right?
Yes.
I am able to do ethical practices. I am able to have a presence. I am able to look you in the eye. I am able to work with you on your balanced scorecard. Isn't that what it's all about?
Absolutely. And this, thank you. And that's very intense what you are sharing, Glenn, for me. And even in the education with our children, or, you know, it's what is my capacity? And yes, I agree that sometimes we want to be nice and say, what can we do? No, what can you do? You, I am empowering you. Even my language, the quality of my language, and sometimes it's very subtle, right? No. Hey, what do you think? I think my performance is not good on here, but it's good here. Okay, what can you do? I think I can do. Yes, this I is the beauty of feeling powerful. The beauty of feeling that whatever the weather, whatever the politics, I can choose my attitude. I can choose the way I do things. And I'm sure you and me have seen examples of how people can grow and be successful thanks to this mindset. In some of the countries where I travel frequently, that is not the most common mindset. We are more on the mindset of business as usual. I remember this sentence from President Kennedy, right? It's not about what my country can do for me, it's what can I do for my country? And that's really the notion here. It's not about what my company can do for me, it's what can I do for my company?
Yep.
Starting by this point of feeling embraced, feeling empowered, that my sparkle in the eyes, my smile, and also my capacity to keep learning, my capacity to really become the best version of myself.
Yeah, 100%.
This way. And even to be able to your in-laws, to tell them, hey, I'm a salesperson in a store, and to make this with pride, you know, because this will connect with a real ability intellectually. In my second book, I was analyzing the 8 intelligences of our world, you know, that that a salesperson may have. Only smart people can be salesperson in retail, you know. The point for the manager is to trigger that. And what we do is to, yes, to go from good to great, to cultivate this environment where everyone can decide to be the best version of themselves. This includes also, by the way, the entrepreneur, the waiters, anyone who's seeing the public in the eyes, you know, and that
Sure.
can, yeah.
You know, you mentioned 15% of the world's workforce is in retail, and I think a lot of us, that's often our first potential job opportunity, right? When we're growing up, you're in college, maybe high school, and you start doing that. And I remember, and I did that. I worked in retail back in college, and I always remember idolizing like the department managers, right? You would, you work in the evening and you would see them, but if you work during the day, you saw how hard they worked. Because nighttime it was okay, it's after hours, it's more of an executive, but during the day you're seeing how hard they're working with all aspects of their business, not only the displays, but the ordering, the relationships, the up and the down with the executives in the store. And it was always kind of fascinating to that. But that engagement, and you talked about 80%, right, is still from a customer standpoint, uh, we want to see it. We want advice. I know on my own side when it comes time for like, okay, it's time for a new sport jacket or a suit or something. I know I want to go to the person I've worked with at whatever store that
Yes,
might be because
yes, and I
because they
think,
because they know me, right? And we have a relationship over a couple of years now.
and you know, and that, yes, that's important because you feel recognized, you feel
Yes.
unique. In a normal day, how many times do you feel listened at? Really, the sensation of what someone is looking. Maybe this visit to the store for this new jacket will be one moment. And for us, something important is also the quality of questions, because the coaching mindset also comes from in this relationship. When you go to buy your jacket, the salesperson here will they tell you, okay, what do you want? Okay, I want a jacket. Okay, I've got this, and this. Or maybe if they've received coaching and if they go in this environment, they will say, hey, Mr. Jurensky, what would you like to project? What has been your style so far?
Yeah.
What would you like your style to be now? And then you would talk, and maybe you say, I don't know, I'm elegant and urban. If you say those two words, and maybe I'm going to offer you a jacket, do you think I will tell you, this jacket is very beautiful? No, Mr. Terensky, this jacket is very elegant and slightly urban, right? This capacity of listening and mirroring the exact same words is actually coaching. So what we do and my bakery is that, she would have this capacity to just recognize me. But in fact, how is the family? And just to have those relationships. And today, clienteling is a big challenge in retail. Clienteling is really this capacity, for instance, in a luxury environment, to not only attend the clients entering the store, but during 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week, to really manage database, call them, send WhatsApp, send email. That is really becoming a omni-channel relationship. Same way, how good are you at written communication? In this jacket, would you like to receive? I mean, in my case, for instance, I would not accept to be in database, except if I've got this very specific and human connection with someone. And yes, if you call me, I would accept, but not your company, So I was talking with someone from Apple, and they told me, Benoit, you know what? Some years ago, they told me that I was an ambassador of the brand as a salesperson. And today they told me, no, you are the brand. You are the brand.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I like that,
When I worked at the New York Stock Exchange, and we worked very closely with a lot of companies, they often would say that, when I think of like the New York Stock Exchange, I think of the people that I interact with. So I think of Glenn, I think of Tanya, or whoever might be working with me, and you just that's empowering, and it makes you appreciate that connection. I'm a big believer in active listening, and mirroring. So I really appreciate your thoughts on that. And it's funny with the neurons. We were filmed many years ago. I'm part of an financial executives group, and they were doing an executive presence kind of meeting, right? And so they were filming everybody. And I remember they did me, and I've done speaking and stuff for years, but I always remember when we replayed it, and they replayed it for the audience, right? She goes, when you were talking, and you did that little line that you got the reaction from the audience, your entire demeanor changed. You got that little bit of acknowledgement from the mirroring on the item, and she goes, all of a sudden you smiled, your shoulders relaxed, and it was really transformative. So that mirroring technique is wonderful. From an entrepreneur standpoint, you've got the balanced scorecard, you got KPIs, all of that comes to play, but the personalization of that, the getting behind the statistics, making it personal to somebody, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's the observation. And if you can make the morning meeting more engaging, God bless. Because that's
Yes.
always the challenge any day of the week.
Absolutely. And for me, it's about the building blocks, the leverages, the best practice to really take the team not really as contributors that can bring their strengths, and for anyone and to observe. So when we make it personalized, it's firstly individual. I really believe that relationship as firstly mutual, two persons. But when you build coaching, you can also contribute to a team, identifying what are the strengths of each person and highlighting this to benchmark. Right. And yes, the mirroring is, yes, I think we have to recognize that maybe today science has demonstrated things that maybe our grandmothers would add the intuition. But yes, when I smile, it's very tough for you to be in bad mood, right? And vice versa. So as a manager, I cannot say, hey, I want you to smile. And that's what I see a lot. So it's just work first on yourself as a manager on Monday morning. Be prepared for not only the business performance, but also the right attitude and the right rituals. And just be taking care of what are you irradiating, instilling in the field, and this works.
All important lessons, whether it's neurological competencies, rituals, the quality of the conversations you're having. I mean, they're all so important in shaping people's experiences, their career paths, and who they are too, right? I mean, if you're carrying yourself that way in your work world, let's hope you bring that home to your home as well, right? Those same qualities can be transcendent even in home when you're not necessarily on, right, on the side. Well, listen, Benoit, incredible. We're coming up on the top of the hour here, so we gotta go. But wow, just so impressive. Congratulations on all your wonderful work. I probably mispronounced. Can you just, on the consulting firm, how do you say the name?
So it's Kapkelen.
Kellen.
Kapkelen. Okay. In fact, today I'm calling from my hometown, Vannes in Brittany, the western part of France. Okay. So Kapkelen is a verb in Breton language. Kelen, that means to teach, to educate. Fantastic. And Cape is the solutions of vision. So Kapkelen is how to teach, how to fix the vision in an environment of details like retail, and also basically focus on educating people and making people grow. Glenn, I've enjoyed very much this conversation with you. Thank you very much for this great, this great alter ego for this conversation, and we'll keep in touch. Okay.
Your explanation on the name, I wouldn't expect anything less. So that's fantastic. Fantastic. Benoit, outstanding. Look forward to working with you. Thanks for being part of the We Save Global Retail Conference, and we'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.